You are now listening to Talking Transparency, the podcast where transparents talk transparently. Hosted by Thea Ross, Melissa Luxon, and Cody Connor.
Welcome back. I'm Melissa.
I'm Cody.
And I'm Thea.
And tonight we actually have a guest with us. And I will let her introduce herself.
So I am Chloe, also known as Sticky Basket. I'm working to get the link posted channel right.
Oh, awesome. I'm so excited.
Welcome, Sticky
Welcome.
Basket.
Yes, welcome. Well, let's talk a little bit really quick. Let's get to just, because we like to talk about upcoming events that we have first. And then we also will recap on the back end for those listening. But
sure, absolutely. We have a bunch of upcoming events. We're have the next one that's going to be at Pride Palooza at ODU. It's going to be on April 17th. You can go and check it out at the ODU, all of their different socials. Also, on April 20th, we're going to have the Trans Family Dinner. That's going to be in Virginia Beach. You can go to kaloscoalition.com/TFD to RSVP or find out more information about that. And then we also have our May Trans Family Dinner, which is going to be on May 18th. Both of those are the third Sunday of the month. Like we say, we always try to host it once a month. So if you miss it, you can always visit us next month. But we are going to be skipping on June. So if you would like to participate in the Trans Family Dinner, you can always sign up. We always are looking for new participants. But because there are so many events going on in June already, and you'll be able to come out and see us and participate in community, we try not to jam another community event into that month.
And just another quick plug for anybody watching. April 5th, this Saturday, yeah. There will be protests all over the country. If you're here locally in Virginia Beach, you could, of course, go to D.C., you can go to Richmond. You can also stay here local and gather with us at Town Point Park.
Yep, it's a Town Point Park. It's the hands-off rally, 50-51. You've been seeing them everywhere. So we have speakers that will be there from 11 to 2. So it's at Town Point Park, park in the parking garages, walk over, and just come out. We actually are expecting about 1,000 people based on our RSVPs already. And then people who just haven't RSVP'd but are planning on coming, we're very confident we'll have over 1,000 people.
Yeah, so if you're here in the area and you want to peacefully defend democracy that is just being so attacked right now.
Yeah.
Show up. Let's see if we can make it to 3,000 people or more. And if you're not in the area, go to the 5051 website.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
5051.org.
Yeah, it's www.5050.1.
It's 50501.org. I think it is. Just Google it.
Just Google it. Go there. Find your local rally, protest, your local place that you can show up.
That's Saturday, April 5th.
Absolutely. There's
also, please, if you show up, put some effort into your sign. I mean, you're representing yourself. I went to a protest on the 14th, March 14th, the 14th Amendment, Article 3. Insurrectionists are incapable of holding presidents, or any sort of office or representing.
Did the signs disappoint you, Chloe?
Yeah, it did. I went to Lowe's and I went, and I mean, they're the only ones. The other hardware stores are kind of anti-DEI.
Yeah, I know. Lowe's is still kind of anti, but like if you have to go to a hardware store, it's probably the safest bet. But funny thing about signs, let me tell you something. I went to a protest. I mean, I go to them often, I guess, now, these days. And
regular weekend
activity. And I don't know, about a month ago, I went with a friend to one in Town Center. And we both were like kind of hurried that day. And I had to pick her up. And I was like, I don't have time to make a sign. We'll just go down there, And then we get down there. And I'm just going to set the stage. Like, historically, it has been older white women and with sprinkling of men attending these protests. But these like little old ladies, like they are OGs, man. I was so ashamed of the fact that I didn't find a random piece of cardboard in my car and a Sharpie to just write some shit on, because that's what these bitches did. One lady literally had an Amazon box that she probably just opened. It was on her doorstep, and she just opened it and she whipped everything out, tossed it in her house, and then she was like, this'll do. Literal box she had that had just been delivered, and she just wrote like no Musk, with the X or whatever across it, and then another lady, like, again, styrofoam, like a styrofoam insert of something, she just wrote with a Sharpie like her thoughts and feelings.
She's like, I just pulled this out of my old
just
TV
pulled
box.
this out of my literally, and so I just looked at my girlfriend. I was like, "We're such losers! Like, what losers? Like,
But-
we're just like, we didn't have time to make a sign."
I don't care if you show up with a sign, without
That's right.
a sign. I don't care what your sign's made of.
Show up.
Just show up. This is, if there's ever been a use it or lose it scenario in all of history, this is it. You use your rights now
While you have them.
or you will lose them.
Yes. Because guess what? Due process. If some people can lose their due process, we all lose our due
That's
process.
right.
I'm waiting for the Gestapo to pop in and take
I'm
me.
saying snatching us up off the streets and
Yeah.
like disappearing us. I'm not lying.
They say my people do that to the kids.
Yeah, no, they no.
I have
no.
zero kids, and yet I
Yes.
get the COVID vaccine, the Fauci ouchie, and the booster.
The Fauci ouchie. Oh my.
And now look at me.
You might bring some MAGA viewers in here using language like that. Like, that's great. Let's do it. I mean, it's fine. They'll be fine. They'll be all right.
So those are the events.
Yeah, so those are the events.
Yes, and I love the message. I love that we're going to be in rally, like we're going to be telling them hands off, get all off of all of the federal funds you're cutting, and off of our rights.
Yes.
But another thing I really wanted to talk about is we just had an amazing event this past week, which was our Trans Day of Visibility here in Hampton Roads. It was an unbelievable celebration. We had organizations like the Life Center. It was hosted at the Southeastern Transgender Resource Center at their physical location. But also we had, Transgender Assistance Program of Virginia. We had the Men in Transition, MASS, the Minority Aid Support Services, the Urban League of Hampton Roads, and just on and on and on. I mean, Hampton Roads Pride was there. I could probably list just so many amazing organizations. And then also we had a couple hundred folks come out. There was grilling going on. Everyone had a good time. And I don't know, those sorts of things really mean a lot to me right now. Checking in with everybody, being able to see the folks I hadn't seen in a couple months, or seeing how they were doing.
Yes.
And just, hug on them a little bit,
Yeah, that's what's really nice, like having it. I mean, it's really important to have some of these things where at least it's, every few months where, the community may not be social outside of going to things like Trans Day of Visibility or, the Pride Palooza, or if it's Pride in June, but like they may go to those things, right? But otherwise maybe it's just hard to check in outside.
Well, I was going to say, I think not everybody always knows there's opportunities out there.
Yeah. Getting the word out.
And I think that's why we also created the Trans Family Dinner. Is also, I feel like that's creating more of those spaces and making sure that they are there in their routine and that they're open to community members in a safe way. And that's the sort of thing that I'm grateful that we have so many dedicated folks who are making these spaces and are continuing to make these spaces. Pride is going to be enormous this year. I know that I was talking to Jeff Ryder from the Hampton Roads Pride. They're planning on doing a march. First time that they're going to do a march as well with with their main Pride event, which is going to be really, really important. I think we forget sometimes, not actual queer folks and folks who are doing the work, but that Pride is a protest, started as a protest, and will continue to be a protest. I'm excited to be out there, both telling people to get hands off and to get out and celebrate and be visible, and that's life.
Speaking of safe spaces, I was unfortunately not in town, so I wasn't able to participate in the local stuff.
Trans Day
Not here
Why
in
is that
Virginia
hard
Beach.
for me
Trans
right
Day
now?
of Visibility.
It's like so many words.
I was out of town, but I was out in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Out with James Madison University area, and like right next to it. Like I was in the campus area, and just Googled. Just like there's got to be something I can do. And so everybody watching, there's always something you can do.
Always something.
And sure enough, I found in this little small college, rural Virginia town. A place, shout out to the Friendly City Safe Space.
Nice.
That they were they opened their doors and did a community mural. A community handprint mural of blue and pink hands on a white background.
Very cool.
And so I stopped in there kind of at the very beginning and just kind of hung out for an hour and a half and so and talked to the young college kids and the director. And did a couple handprints on the wall.
Were they like, oh my God, there's this famous TikToker
They
here?
had no idea who I was.
Yep.
They're
No.
like, who's this old dad? No,
dad?
we had some good conversations.
Yeah.
And then I was able to stop back by later.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because some of my coworkers had seen me, go walk down there in the afternoon when I went down there to go put my handprints on the wall, and they're like, "Hey, did you go through a walk through town or whatnot?" And so I told them, I said, "No, today's
Mm-hmm.
Trans Day of Visibility, and I went to the local safe space to participate and show my support and talk with some of the young college kids and just
Mm-hmm.
be there to support." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool." Was great, and I won't use any names, but one of my bosses
Mm-hmm.
actually ended up following me
Mm-hmm.
on socials, which is total
Uh,
nightmare. Great,
Yeah, I know.
a really great nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But a part of the reason and all of that and everything is because she has a nephew that is trans.
Aw, I love when stories end like that.
And so, and one of my other coworkers, because on the way back, you have to do the workers' dinner. It's a work event. So, but on the way back from dinner, I always walk as long as it's within walkable. Everybody else, but I always walk back and forth to dinner.
Yeah.
And the safe space was on the way between where we were staying and where we were eating. And so, one of my coworkers wanted to walk back with me. And I told her, I was like, "Hey, I'm going to stop back by the safe space because I want to get a picture of how it all turned out."
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, I'm going to do that. And they're like, "Well, okay, that'll be cool."
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to stop back by like right before they closed up, like when everything was done.
Mm-hmm.
And my coworker put a handprint on the wall.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was just
What a really cool experience.
it was a
to
really
have.
really great experience.
Wow. Yeah.
Really neat to be a part of, and who knows, one of my kids might
Yeah.
end up at James Madison.
That's right. Exactly.
Um,
And they'll see your handprints on a wall. That's amazing.
And you see, this story reminds me that we are legion. Trans family is everywhere. People they talk about us
And-
like we're this 1%, this small percent, but we are so much more. Especially when you count all of our siblings, our cousins, our brothers, our sisters, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, all the folks that are chosen family that don't have all proper names, all sorts of different names.
And let me tell you something, because I was talking to the person there closing up, because the very end of the night, and I came in, and I'll show you the picture.
Oh, I wish we could show our viewers the picture. We could have if we had given it to producer Athena.
Well,
And
I
producer
didn't know
Athena
right
could
out
have
the
put
gate
up-
that I was going to tell
We should just. This is why we should do show notes.
this story, but the wall.
Oh, cool. Oh, I love that
Picture.
But look how many
Picture.
handprints are on the wall.
picture.
That was the one thing that they told me, and they're going to open up for another day, I think, next week to let people do more handprints if they want to. But that was the one thing they were like, way more people than we thought were going to showed up.
Yes, that's awesome. And I mean, that's kind of the theme right now, I think, with everything. When it comes to community especially centered around politics right now, is that way more people are showing up than we are expecting. Like for Saturday, I'm one of the organizers in a group of us, and one of my partners is like, we're probably gonna have 2,000 people. And I was like, when you said 1,000 people, I was like, she's crazy. We're probably gonna have 200 people out here. But like, if I actually look at the last several events I've been at, every single event has grown in size from one, just in a week. You know what I mean? Like from this week to the next week, it's like this rally had 500 people, and this last rally we had with Senator Warner was over 1,000 people, and it was 1,500 between Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. So it's that, like there's this surprise that we're getting that people are actually, which is honestly like the only thing that's like keeping me going right now, because if I didn't know that that people were starting to pay attention and that there is some kind of movement, right?
For that, I feel like it's
Chloe.
hard not to pay attention when it's something immediate like your job. And a lot of these federal employees that are getting their jobs cut out from under them, when they miss a paycheck, that is, a mortgage payment or food on the dinner table.
Yeah.
Like it has an immediate impact where they have to get involved, and
right.
I don't think it's sustainable long term to continue
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, right. No, I agree.
Making a joke out of the government.
But the problem, but this is what's upsetting, is that, right, like millions of us feel this way, like it can't keep up for long. We are making an assumption that these people care.
Yeah.
And it's intentional what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're intentionally wrecking our government. They're intentionally flipping our stock market so that they can do a giant wealth transfer. It's all intentional. They don't literally care. And the thing is that until people start realizing that.
Are you suggesting wealth should transfer not from the impoverished to the wealthy, but from the wealthy to the impoverished?
I mean, it should.
That's pretty radical thinking right there.
It should, but I know, but
Elon might disagree. Elon thinks you should have empathy for his Cybertrucks, please.
Literally, he has no empathy. He is a psychopath. But go ahead. Yes, Cody?
Yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, Elon also thinks empathy is what's causing all the pains of society, right?
Yeah, literally.
This is for him.
Then I shall have absolutely none for him. Exactly.
Right, but oh my God, you're gonna have any for me? Yeah, no, yeah. So I mean, like yes, more people being awake to this, but like I just hate to be I am not a pessimist. Like by my nature is optimism. Even when bad things happen to me, I always can find something good from the bad, right?
Definitely.
I am not there.
Yeah,
I mean, this. Like I can't.
What's going on right now? I mean, I think part of the reason why we're getting surprising numbers, which really, to me, it's more surprising that there's not more,
right?
But
for sure.
But that being said,
I'm just nihilistic.
What we're seeing is more and more of, so it's a higher percentage of population being affected now, right?
Correct.
You look at people like me, and not only did I have something important to stand up for before,
right?
Because I can look at the evolution of my pissed offness, right?
For lack of a
better word, and even my activism based on first it was okay, you are attacking my wife and children's bodily autonomy.
Yep.
Then it was my daughter came out.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing that it was on my radar before, but now it was exceptionally personal. Right. The attack on LGBTQ community, on the trans community, and as we go farther and we look at the attack on all of my children's education, right, and we move into now, my father is on Social Security and disability. My father is on Medicare and Medicaid, and I think that's my buildup. Where now you are attacking, even if you weren't affecting me in any way, you are now attacking every single member of my family.
Correct.
And I think that's the buildup that we're seeing in other people's lives as well now.
Right. It is. And you're totally right, because all these different avenues, that is 100%. Like all the different avenues they're using to attack people, right? And then you talk about the military. Like Chloe, I know you were in the military, and like 15,000 people affected. Now I know that the judges temporarily halted that, from what my understanding is, but
Yes.
but I think the environment is still one of which it's still trying to push them out.
Exactly. And there are processes that discrimination can take place that aren't necessarily, oh, we're going to remove you for being trans. For my specific scenario, they sort of tried to represent me as an alcoholic, which I don't have a drinking problem. I have a problem with systems that sort of oppress me and don't let me be who I am.
Right. Okay.
And being in the Navy and then not being recognized, it was over a period of about 18 months.
Yeah, sure.
They then said, well, it seems like you're not getting any better, without pushing forward on it. I built an entire life after that. And it's funny, you mentioned your kids' education being attacked, because I work for a public school district for Norfolk. In the maintenance field, and that's what happens is they start making cuts like this, and all of a sudden I get to relive something that really I'd like to never think about.
Right.
And then Trump gets inaugurated, and trans people are incapable of having honor or serving with dignity.
It's insanity.
The way he speaks about it, and he goes, it's an ideology, but what about the right to believe? Or to hold those independent identities separate from what the government prescribes for us.
Right, correct. Agreed.
So,
Also, I don't think you can just erase or scrub out ideologies. I mean, I don't think that we are ideologies. We are people. We have our own autonomy.
exactly.
But then also, like, just the idea that, oh, it's an ideology, therefore we must resist that. Like, I think we have to contend with ideas. And one of the things that you were talking about, Cody, is this idea that it's affecting more people and it's going further and further. And one of the ideologies that I think is actually really toxic is the American conservative ideology that undergirds a lot of this. Because when you go back to 10 years ago, you go back to 20 years ago, what has been the constant refrain, the mantra that comes from the right in America? That we need to dismantle, we need to make smaller, we need to deregulate, we need to dismantle the government. And all sort of different ways that they will pitch that we have to do that or some sort of way. But what is the 0 point of that ideology? What is that ideology taken to a point of extremity, to the point that that is all there is, and there is no space for other ideology? And when you're talking about closing out other people's gender, other people's socioeconomic beliefs or other ideals, that's what they want. Is all is left is this, well, we need to cut and cut and cut. But what happens when you've cut and it's affected everyone? You've cut to the bone. You've gotten all the way to the bedrock, and now we're standing here looking at each other, just human beings in a field. And I don't really think that the billionaires can sustain themselves in that world, nor do they want to be in that world. And I think the reality of it is the asymmetry of the power becomes readily apparent to all of us, that they have bunkers, that they have private islands, that they have private security, and they're privatizing more and more of our infrastructure because then they can own that infrastructure, and they can either deny, reshape, reform it into something that will only serve themselves. And all points to me, and I don't mean to be overly pessimistic, I don't mean to be overly nihilistic, that they expect us to fight, to squabble, for there to be mass strife, for there to be sorts of conflicts, and they're actually trying to instigate those, whether it be in Greenland, whether it be in Panama, whether it be in all sorts of different ways, in geopolitical things internationally, or even here amongst states, intrastate conflict that they're trying to create.
They're trying to incite the Black community.
Yes.
Oh, painting over the Black Lives Matter. I mean, which?
Oh goodness! Did you hear about the Smithsonian and Donald Trump saying that race has genetic markers, which again is not true.
Not true at all. I mean, like
that's like saying Pluto's a planet because you disagree with the change of NASA. Which I mean, I do I do disagree that, like, to be a planet, you have to have cleared your orbit of other foreign objects. Like, I think that's a little odd because Pluto's orbit intersects with, I think, Neptune or whatever one is out there. But it doesn't make sense because then that planet, that doesn't have a cleared out orbit, but we're considering it a planet, but we got to say Pluto's a dwarf planet. I think it's a real planet. But again, that's not necessarily the same as when you're
Put your
categorizing
opinion.
people.
Do you think that
Do you
Pluto
think
is a
that
planet?
Pluto
Put
is
that
a planet?
inside chat now.
We need to
Let us know.
We need to know. Do you think Pluto? So, but oh my god,
There are physicists that would agree with me.
I
just want to say,
believe
or
you.
a physicist,
I
at
believe
least
you.
one.
I believe you. How did we get to Pluto?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be SpaceX. They keep exploding.
Yeah, no, they do keep exploding.
Sorry,
We're
in each
not-
opportunity to take a jab at
Oh,
most
that was
y'all.
amazing.
SpaceX is the privatized version of NASA. We'll see a lot of contracts going to them through defense spending and stuff like that because that's how they do it.
Yeah, but it will be because
Palantir.
they earned it. It won't be because Musk controls the government.
Yeah. Musk is the number one welfare queen. He is the only welfare queen, literally, in the entire country. There is no such thing as a welfare queen except for Elon Musk. That is he literally is taking all of the government money.
Back in the day, we had a saying, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. And he goes and makes comedy legal and then gets mad when people call him a Nazi for doing a Nazi
I
salute.
know.
Which, I mean, if you're performing symbols from an ideology, National Socialism of
Right.
World War II Germany,
Right.
pretty bad. Some people
They
say
are bad
Adolf
about
Hitler was a good artist. I just want to say, in the World War II time era, Adolf Hitler was capturing Renaissance-style art, which, yes, fundamentally looks like a skilled art, but at the time, art was being depicted more along the lines of Pablo Picasso, where there's a rebellion against traditional beauty. So when you have someone putting out stuff like, I don't know, boring cathedrals or like
Okay,
portraits,
here's the
you know,
deal.
like
Shit,
back then,
look.
he was not a good artist. You do not have to give props to Hitler.
Shit.
Just so we're clear there. He's an
and by the way,
awful
we call him
person.
Shitler.
Oh, okay. Be
so-
careful. I have a cat named Shetler.
No, Shitler.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
know.
I have a cat named Palantir, which is very unfortunate because that's another company that's coming in with
That
some
is-
private
it
defense
is-
contracts.
It is. I just saw that.
But it's from Lord of the Rings, though. It's the orb where if you touch it, you can see all events, past, present, and future. And I named my cat after it because I made a lot of money on the stock when they made their direct public offering.
Yeah.
Good amount. I was learning what calls were. I made some really
Listen
good
to you-
plays. That was
listen to
during
you,
the
capital-
GameStop era.
Look at
too.
listen to you, capitalist.
I'm
Look at you
like
participate.
just-
look at the
Listen, I don't want to
We're
out her,
participating.
but there was a
She-
conversation where there was like, I feel like at one point you were a libertarian. No,
Okay, so
Oh yeah, there.
so
yeah.
Chloe, so oh my
Ron Paul,
goodness, when you-
2012. We should have got back on the gold standard.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie
goodness,
though.
great.
I did vote
No,
for Gary.
I have
not
I
Gary-
have
Gary
repented
Johnson?
for my crimes of those times.
It was Gary Johnson,
course.
right? That's why I voted for Gary,
Gary Johnson.
I
Oh
voted for
goodness,
Gary-
what's an Aleppo?
Listen, I voted for Gary Johnson because I was not paying any attention to politics, and I was like, I don't like any. I did the thing, what people do, which I yell at those people now, but I was that person, which is also why I'm empathetic to people who who do that and have done that to say, hey, listen, I was you too, okay? Like I definitely voted. I've told you this before. I'm certain I voted for that hose bag, Vicky Manning, like only because she had signs everywhere, and I didn't know anything about school board. So I mean,
It's like accidentally drinking pee.
no.
Oh goodness! Talking about accidentally
my
drinking
God.
pee. When I was a young kid, my
wait,
friend
no, let's not talk
Let's
about.
not
accidents.
talk
Can we just,
about drinking.
I'm just
he
gonna
had
stop. you
taken
there.
his own
No.
urine.
No.
And then stored
We
it.
talk transparently, but we
Yes,
also
not-
have agency.
Yes. Yes.
There was an
Therefore-
ice cube tray.
Oh, goodness.
No.
Saran wrap and some toothpicks.
No.
So, how about them Yankees, y'all?
Popsicles.
Tell me.
Pea
Um,
popsicles.
I think they are
gross.
playing baseball again.
They are. You know, it was fascinating. You started talking about how people lionize Hitler's art, but we do the same thing to George Bush's art. Even though when you look at George Bush,
I didn't know
art.
George Bush had art.
He
well, no,
had art?
people used to rate because he does these really childish they're I mean, he paints, and people like to give him credit and props for painting because, oh, look, a warmonger and a war criminal. Oh my goodness, he can paint. But it's something really strange. There's a
But
weird
what about
phenomenon where
Hunter
we, like, try to
Biden's
humanize
art?
these
Well,
fascists.
and you see the same thing happen where conservatives have a tendency to love AI art.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness, don't ever call it AI art. It is AI image generation.
Yeah,
It is not art. It has no ability to interpret or convey.
No, it's instruction. It's like call it paint by number. Like the
I
same
liked
as just
Shrimp
paint by
Jesus,
word.
though. I thought Shrimp Jesus was especially
Shrimp
compelling. I
Jesus,
almost
yeah.
converted once I saw the images of Jesus as a shrimp.
I mean,
I don't think I'm familiar with Shrimp Jesus.
shrimp.
If you're in
Jesus,
chat, go Google
yeah.
Shrimp Jesus.
Just Google.
No, it
shrimp
was it's a
Jesus.
very, very
Right.
viral
Oh.
Facebook meme. I feel like it fooled a lot of boomers on Facebook. They were like, "Wow, Jesus has come back and he's King of Sea." I don't know. Listen,
Oh,
AI images
King
make
of
some
the sea. Stop. Oh my god. So yeah, so we're just like caught up in all this like legal, there's all these things like, you know, that all these cases, this lawfare going on, you know, trying to address all of these like executive orders, whether it's kicking all the trans people out of the military, whether it's the 19 and under the gender affirming care, like how they had to put, you know, the judge put a halt on that, pause.
A Signal group chat, perhaps, where they're tossing around classified
Where no
information.
classified information
No,
was
that they
shared.
said that was
And then
they said it
journalist-
was sensitive information.
What bothers me is the journalist releases it and he's like, oh, they were texting about war plans. And it's like, you just watched a war crime be committed as they bomb a building in Yemen.
Thank
with
you.
civilians.
Yes.
Like, what do you
What do you
mean,
mean?
classified information?
Right.
Like, this is a
War
this is-
crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, in America, we don't even have the literacy or education on a public level for people to understand that we don't have the legitimacy there. The War Powers Resolution should have been revoked. There is no authority for us to be fighting a proxy war with Saudi Arabia on behalf of Saudi Arabia in fighting Iran in the middle of Yemen. There's no
Yep.
reason for us to be doing this.
Oh,
They
they're
talk as if
using
the
the shipping
Houthis are,
lane.
as if there's this active threat to us at all times. But if anything, we've created
No,
and
it's a threat to
manufactured
money.
One of the most
maintain that threat.
disgusting things was when they turned those pagers into bombs and they were targeting first responders, and then they say, oh, that's the Houthis. Those are the people we're going after.
Oh yeah.
And if by those definitions they determine it just based on which side of the gun you're on, it's
Correct.
ridiculous.
Right.
And it's
well,
awful.
and I mean,
Sorry.
but that's notice how we didn't talk about the fact that we were just bombing a civilian building. What we talked about was the focus was on the fact that it got leaked.
And they used these emojis.
And they used the fist and the American
flag
flying
and-
flick and fire and
I don't like that they can say, I'm going to say a prayer. How about you
Yeah.
go and like
how about you just not? How about
yeah,
you just don't? How about you just
There's
don't?
more people in America right now that can tell you the emojis that were used in the Signal chat that can tell you that it was a
Three branches
civilian
of government.
building.
But see, here's where we really need to connect. War crime
Or that there's
happened.
three branches of government.
And this is really important. Okay, like war crime happened trying to circumvent FOIA requirements.
Yes.
Those two things together are
yes.
the real story, because when
Yeah.
you really get down to it, we can talk about, oh, you put the military industrial at risk, you put troops at risk. I feel like that's the framing that I get from watching a lot of this, like people are being told that. But the ultimate thing is like, no, what you're actually doing is putting the entire legitimacy of the United States at risk because you are committing war crimes, and we're saying we're above the International Court of Criminal, all sorts of different things, above international law, and that we're above our own laws, our own requirements to be able to oversee ourselves. It's a point of saying there is no check and balance to power. This is brutal lethality.
if-
well,
and
you
there is no
literally
way to
already
stop it.
said that we don't care about the International
If this
Criminal
was
Court.
a service
Well, we've been saying that
member,
for as long as I've been
if this
alive.
was a
Yeah,
service
longer.
member, if this was a group of service members in a chat, they'd all be toast. They'd be in Leavenworth. Like,
without
you know
a
what I
doubt.
mean? So, and then
I went
and
through
then-
some cryptographic training, and I know I would be in prison for some of the things the sitting duck president Trump is doing.
yeah.
With regard to his off period, where he's withholding classified information when the CIA is coming to recover them for, I believe, the Library of Congress, and he just kind of keeps on it, and there are tapes of him talking to people with like Yeah, it'd be illegal to show you this, and
Yeah.
it's wild that we
yeah.
have these tapes.
Oh, yeah.
And then we just go, oh yeah, let's let him
Well,
run for president.
They have conditioned us. They've normalized us. Like it's the same thing as what they're doing with the deportations right now, and what they're doing with El Salvador, and how they are pushing us to see how much we will tolerate, because
It's all 2016, Hillary Clinton's BlackBerry emails.
Yeah.
We ought to have locked her up back then, you
Right,
know?
right,
Keep
yeah.
the change, Obama.
yeah, right. But really at this point, they are really though, like they're legitimately testing the American people to
Oh,
see
the third term.
where our threshold is.
Mhm.
Where will we scream? Is it how far can we get before they start uprising, before they start screaming? So all of these things are like little tests for us, which is why it's so important to show up on Saturday, to no matter where you are, like to show up and like because when it's the same people don't pay attention. It's every new face that shows up at these things. Trust me, I am in these politicians' face all the time. When I go speak at public meetings, and I think Cody, yes, Cody is speaking to the dais, people on the dais, and yes, I am also speaking to people on the dais. My message is for people at home. I'm talking to the people in the audience. I'm talking to the people that are watching on TV. I'm not talking to politicians, because the politicians know that I'm an activist. They know I have a loud mouth. I've presented myself in front of both of those bodies probably 40 times, and at a minimum. And that doesn't include phone calls and other things that I see them at. And like they don't, they're conditioned to my face and my voice, right? And it has to continue. I don't have to go away, but I'm happy to be more quiet while more new people jump up. And that's what we need, because they care about faces. They care about new faces, because ultimately these people care about power. And as long as it's the same old fucking people standing up here, they're like, well, you're only one vote. But see, the more people you get to stand up there with you, they're like, oh, fuck. This bitch turned in from... Melissa Lukeson is not one vote. Melissa Lukeson is probably a couple hundred votes because of Melissa Luxon's influence, right? Same with Cody Connor. So that's important, y'all. It is important that people see you advocating, and that but it's more important that your community and advocacy in local, state, and federal government is right now, you bring people with you. I don't care if you have to drag them. Bring one of my favorite things to say to people is like, I just need a body. If I ask you to come to city council or a school board meeting, like, I don't need you to talk. I will handle the speakers. I will speak. We have other speakers. I need a body. That's it.
I've been working on trying to get a movement started, the Modern Labor Movement. I want the acronym to be MLM. If you just get two friends and tell them about it, and they get two friends, okay? You think, I don't want to be at the bottom of the pyramid. Get two friends. You won't be at the bottom. They'll be at the bottom. Put them at the bottom and make them go get two friends.
Chloe, God, I'm such a sucker for guerrilla marketing tactics and really good marketing ideas. And God damn it, that's so good. Wow. MLM, Modern Labor Movement. Oh gosh, bring two friends. It's brilliant.
You can also do the Modern Labor Party if you want to separate from the two-party system we currently have. And then the acronym is MLP, which a lot of internet people know as My Little Pony. So then you can share with them that friendship is magic, because it's bringing us all together.
That's right.
Even when they're trying to divide us, like, it doesn't stop us from having a good time. I mean, at the Coalition's Trans Family Dinner, I know I had a blast.
Oh, we have such a good time. Absolutely. And that's, I mean, it's joy. Like, you're not going to take our joy from us, like, period.
Absolutely.
That is the act of resistance.
That is the act of resistance. And like, so I went to a funeral yesterday for Miss Sharon Felton's husband, who passed away. She's on the school board, and Her husband Winfred was a lovely man who drove Sharon to everything, all the political events. He was amazing.
Yeah, I remember meeting him.
Yeah, and it was at New Jerusalem Church, which is a Black church in historic SeaTac. And let me tell you something. I don't believe in God, but if I ever was, it'd be standing in a Black church, y'all. Nobody could bring me to Jesus like their joy and celebration, even in death, just the way they celebrate. And like that is the whenever I look at the communities that get targeted the most, it's obviously for very distinct, generally physical reason, like physical worldly reasons, right? Whether it's skin color or whether you're part of the queer community, but all of those communities also have something in common, and it's joy.
I would go one step further. I think what we have in common is joy. You're right. No question. No asterisk to that. But I think it's also kalos. It is what I like to think of as beauty. It is non-gendered. It is non-specific. It is ahistorical. It is post-historical. And it is a sort of thing that it is a light. When someone is happy, when they are moving with purpose, when they are in community with people that are vibing with them in sync, they shine. And that light, I think fascists and people who are subsumed with darkness, they can't handle it.
That's correct.
And they must stomp it out because they must be the only ones that control light. And the one message I would love to send to everyone is that light is wonderful because it's easy to spread. It's like a flame. You can help someone else just by acknowledging who they are. You can take their pronouns. You can take their name. You can talk about what they're wearing. You can give it a compliment to them about the way that they walk, the way that they talk, the way that they make you feel. And you can watch them light up. And when you do that in a little tiny, tiny way in a microcosm, it adds up. And your entire community over time can be a brighter and better place. That's something that I feel like we all know on a very humanist, intuitive level, but it's easy for us to get sucked into other things. And now more than anything, when I talk about joy, when I talk about those things, it is about turning your light on, choosing to, making the effort, putting the energy into doing it, and then also finding other people and finding ways to uplift them in small ways, sometimes big ways.
Yeah.
Let them turn their light on. Let them shine a little bit, because that's going to absolutely piss the fascists off, and it's also going to sustain us through the darkness.
And to build off of that, we mentioned African American communities and Black communities and their church. I've been to a funeral service at one before, and you're absolutely right that they have a way of bringing about a spirit with them.
It is powerful.
I do want to acknowledge we are a country built on the back of slavery.
100%.
I think that it's important. I would go for universal basic income, and then as reparations, I would give it to the African American and Black communities first. And I'd be like, let's roll out the not just like affirmative action of like we should have some people in here, but like let's just elevate these people in the ways that people with generational wealth and the benefits of having a family lineage that extends beyond maybe 2 or 3 generations, because they get wiped out in the slave trade or being treated not as people but as objects.
Well, I like, it's funny when you talk about reparations on that aspect. I have a very difficult, like, I'm a tax the churches. I tax the fucking churches, except for the Black churches. And I look at that as form of reparation.
Here's what I would say. We can tax the churches, but why don't we put them under the same standards and obligations of every other 501c3 and stop giving them special privileges and status because of the religious exemptions? Because if they actually had to be like transparent, a lot of these mega churches, because the ones that are doing good works, i.e. overwhelmingly the Black churches who are in their community serving, making safe spaces, putting joy, bringing the call, putting light out,
they take care of themselves, their own community.
I don't
through
think
the churches, 100%.
I don't think they would lose anything, but I do think that some of these mega churches would lose a lot if they had to have the reporting requirements that are on everyone else.
100%.
They'd actually operate as a nonprofit.
That actually operate as a nonprofit, and versus like the religious exemption portion of it. So yeah, like reparations can come in all. I mean, I'm down for universal. I'm a big fan of UBI. For everyone, but I also believe that like reparations can be in the form of education, free education, and things like that. So it doesn't always like have to be like, like cashing
Yeah,
in per
it's
se. You
just-
know what I mean? I'm all about it if it was. I
The
wouldn't.
way
I
our
wouldn't be
system
disagreeing.
currently deprives people of it.
Right, exactly.
If we're going to keep this system, let's just flip the output so
Right.
that we're doing it maybe in a more equitable way.
Equitable way, exactly, right. And so, but yeah, that was something that I was just like at that church, and you're like, man, like I'm not a believer, but if I ever was gonna be, y'all would turn me out right here at this church. It was really, really wonderful.
And while we're
It's
talking about
also-
Black churches, I'd love to give a shout out to the Great Awakening Church of Christ, who has hosted trans family dinners here locally out in Portsmouth. Pastor Joy is amazing.
Big fan of
absolutely love
Pastor
them.
Joy.
And it is the sort of thing that Joy does reside within their hall, and it is. I don't know. I'm very
love
grateful
that.
for churches like that open
Yeah.
their doors to us. So
Yes,
love y'all.
They're
Oh,
great
yeah.
examples, and it is amazing because within the community there is that conflict, and it is
Mhm.
just a great example of what Christianity really is for people, and that is the welcoming of and loving of all. And there are churches out there that do believe in that, and the Great Awakening Church is one of them.
If Christian God exists when I pass away, I will strike them right in the throat.
Oh wow, what a hard segue.
Hard.
We were like, let's reconcile with our
reconcile.
Yes,
theological
I
listeners.
acknowledge
And by
the
the way, let's
church's
strike
right
God
to
right in the
believe.
throats.
But their God is as real to me as my D&D God.
I'm
Or
going to
my
throw
video
punch
game
Jesus.
God.
You know what?
If
I'm
there
going to
is
throw
a
punch
Jesus.
Paylor.
Hey, I think Jesus would have had relations with a trans woman. I think he would have been cool with
I
it.
mean,
I
some
think
would
he would
say
have
that
been...
Jesus was trans.
I think Jesus could have been a trans.
Honestly,
I mean,
Yeah.
he's kind of like a demigod. Like, I don't know. I watch Hercules.
I
Oh,
watch-
my goodness.
They do have a very inline story.
Did
Hercules
Jesus
and
have
Jesus.
a
Hercules and
klutzy
Jesus,
phase
dude.
where he would accidentally like, oh no, I turned this water to wine and
That's
drink it? Oh, gee, his
hilarious.
teenage years.
oh my God, hilarious. Well, what else do we have today?
Well, I feel like we have a lot of things we could talk about. We could talk about a couple of the trans wishes we fulfilled lately.
Oh my gosh, yes, I would love to
Um,
hear about that.
We got a wonderful message that just came in. I could read it verbatim, but it was relatively short because they are still recovering from their top surgery. They just wanted to tell the coalition and all of our different members, if you're listening, if you contribute, if you're not a member now, you can go find out more about memberships. You can contribute to our work to help make the safe spaces with the Trans Family Dinner, but also to help us fulfill wishes, which is our micro grant program where we give direct assistance. And we had someone who had their top surgery, and we were able to help them with their rent, make sure that they were able to heal and actually be in a safe space while they're healing. And we absolutely love them. We send them love. And of course, we do it all anonymously because we're not going to put out their identifying details or such. But it is a sort of thing that trans family for us means a little bit more than just feeding. Sometimes it also means the materially showing up when we can, how we can. And when you support us or you support the coalition, you're enabling us to do that. So thank you to everyone who does.
Amazing. That. Anything else?
Well, no, I think we've done a good job
mean,
of
Super
bringing
happy to
up-
have Chloe here.
super happy to have Chloe
We
here.
didn't
blast
get
being
to talk
here.
about Sticky Basket too much though.
Sticky Bat.
Um,
You're right.
Thank you.
Well,
Let's
course.
that's okay.
No, let's talk about Sticky Basket. You're building your YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been doing it, and I was very intrigued by Sticky Basket. So
So, Sticky Basket was originally a Let's Play channel I did, and then the world shut down for COVID. I went through some stuff, and it's an interesting sort of examination because there are parts of me in there where it's before I came out, and so it's tough for me to watch sometimes. But then I look at the transformation that occurs over the channel, and there's a moment in there where it's probably 2 weeks before one of my lowest points in life where I say something along the lines of, some days your basket just isn't that sticky, and that's okay. You just got to keep persevering, and then one day maybe it'll be sticky again. Just find what gets your basket sticky and go for
Right.
that, you know?
and then that's how you came up with Sticky
and
Basket.
And it's stuck.
Things like
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
sticky enough that it stuck.
the trans joy and stuff along those lines. I am very staunchly sort of pacifist. But one of my favorite things that I've been able to share with my audience, because they've helped me grow so much, again, the revitalization process was originally a class assignment that an old friend from high school commented on, and he had posted, "Babe, wake up! Sticky Basket just posted another video," and it made me super excited, and so I was like, "I'm gonna bring it back."
Oh yeah.
And now it's where I kind of share the story of Dark Souls with my audience, and then we had a certain goofball get elected to our president, and he decided to appoint his own jester and just sort of make a mockery of the government, and that kind of brought up some painful things for me.
Yep.
So I haven't been able to play Dark Souls as much as I'd like, but we did just recently conclude the Dark Souls Woke Extravaganza, so that was a blast.
Extravaganza. I love that.
I was curious, what exactly is a sticky basket?
Yeah,
Like a
Am I
basket
ignorant?
that's sticky.
Is
You know
sticky
what,
from-
Cody? I thank you for
Is it like
telling.
from, is it from like
have your
chicken and
shoes
waffles?
ever stuck to the
'Cause
floor
I
in the
love
movie
chicken
theater?
and waffles.
Yes.
Probably like that on a basket.
When I was maybe 13 or 14 years old, do any of you remember the store Albertsons?
Oh, I know
Yes.
Albertsons. I was in California for 5 years.
Yeah.
I went
Stopped
into
at
an
many
Albertsons as a youth,
Yeah.
and I saw a green apple push pop. Green apple is my favorite flavor, by the way.
All right.
But-
Noted.
I was not old enough to engage in child labor. We didn't have any of the kind conservatives who are in office now that want to send the children back to the mines.
I was able to
They
engage
yearn
in
for
child
mine.
labor.
I was
at quite
able
a
to
young
engage
age.
in child labor.
The closest I could get was $5 an hour working for my dad re-roofing a house.
Wow.
and-
$5 an hour
Yep.
re-roofing.
I was able to earn
Twice as
enough
much
money
as
to
I
buy a first generation iPod Touch.
Oh,
I was
not
too
the
young
iPod
for an
Touch.
iPhone.
Oh my gosh, not
But
the
if
iPod
I
Touch.
stood in the corner of my yard, I was able to get a Wi-Fi signal from my neighbors, and I was able to download this one game, Paper Toss. And it's all the fun of sitting in an office and throwing a ball of paper into the
I've
basket.
played the paper toss game. Yes.
I had an original iPod.
Yes. So did I. Yes.
That's how old I am.
Very proud of the original.
Very
iPod.
proud of, and I probably could not work it. You remember when it got the touch,
Oh, yeah.
the touch
Yeah.
scroll, not when you had the
Yeah.
push, but when you could boop boop, like, and it had the little LCDs. Oof.
Remember
yeah.
when the iPod Color came out and you could play solitaire?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. See,
Back in
we're
the day.
back in the day.
I had.
This is okay, but hold on.
I had like an original like Discman, like a CD.
I mean, I was
device
I had a
separate
walk,
from your
I had a walk.
phone that
I had
you
a
carry
right,
around?
no. I had a Walkman at one time, and I also, by the way, had a corded telephone in my house, y'all.
Yeah,
Like-
corded-
Do y'all remember when we had the
Quarter-
styluses and we had like the big piece of like slate and we had to like chisel?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
quite that
Remember when
far
I
back
had
to
a light
Frank.
bright?
I remember this one guy. He was sent up to this hill to get these commandments from God.
Yeah.
He was given 15 commandments, and then homeboy drops one of the stones. And you know what was on that?
What?
It said, "Don't use AI. Don't let the cars drive themselves."
Oh,
If you ever meet someone by the name of Elon Musk, don't trust his Path of Exile
Okay.
2 account where he pays people in China to boost for him.
I feel like Chloe
He's
is
not a
gonna
real
judge me when Chloe goes outside and sees that I'm driving a swastika. Don't judge me,
Oh,
Chloe. I
Two
know.
swastikas parked outside.
There
we
are
all
two.
make mistakes.
Yeah, there are two swastikas. Hey,
It was
speaking
before
of,
you knew.
It was before. I mean, I kind of.
A lot of people have done a lot of things before they knew that it was bad for them.
Honestly,
yeah,
the
for sure.
company is named after Nikola Tesla.
I
and
know.
the problem I have is between Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla was the furthest thing from a capitalist you could be as an electronics person.
Yeah, that's why they killed him. Anyway.
I'm an electronics technician.
they
That's
kill
why
him?
we all learned about Thomas Edison and not
Well,
Tesla.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's.
But if you watch The Prestige, you can see the real story
Yes.
of Nikola Tesla. Don't trust what you read in the history books.
Yes.
I
That's
have watched-
written
I have
by...
watched The Prestige.
I have to take the. I gotta eat
love
in
it.
order to get rid of my car. I'm gonna have to eat it so hard though. The value of the Teslas right now is
Yes.
sucking.
No, this is the time to take your Tesla out to the country and sell it to
MAGA.
a gas station cowboy.
I totally need to sell it.
Yeah,
sell it to
you-
a gas station.
You need to
cowboy.
go find somebody with a Trump Vance sticker and an American flag flying behind their white truck and give them a good deal on a Tesla.
Damn it.
You could also put a honk if you're horny bumper sticker on it.
Oh, I have so many. I did not see that coming with the thing on the back of it. Just so you know, I just am so ashamed to drive it right now. But whatever.
What do you think
I
of
love
people
driving it.
merging? Are people nice to you in a Tesla while merging?
So I don't know because I'm an asshole driver and I just get in. So, but
That's not an asshole driver. That's someone driving properly.
Yeah,
I just
I mean,
when you're merging,
no,
you are
for
supposed
sure. I'm
to just
supposed to
get in.
I'm
So
supposed
many
to
people
just get in. Yeah.
so many-
You're not supposed to
Oh
stop
my
and
goodness.
wait.
Yeah, no.
This morning,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
a
on
zipper
the
effect,
on-ramp.
baby. Zipper effect.
Person in front of me going 40 miles an hour. Speed limit 60. I got to get up to speed. And then this car honks
Yeah.
at me. So
Yeah.
then finally I'm able to get out from around them. And I zoom up and the guy looks over at me and it's like, what do you want? The bird? And then he does his, what do you want? And it's like, okay, bud, whatever. I'm going too fast for
I
this.
definitely. Oh yeah, I love to smoke.
I got my
on the
Verite
interstate.
blasting, you know?
Yeah, look. Don't. I will drive. One of my favorite things to do is drive very fast. So, I was why I enjoy the Tesla. But I do just get in. But I will have to say that somebody threw a soda on my car.
Oh, goodness.
And you couldn't even be mad at him, could you? You were like,
I couldn't
get it."
even be.
Like
I
you walked up and you were
literally
like,
was like, I get it. I wasn't even mad. I
You're like,
just
I'm just gonna,
go
watch
through the car.
Sonic."
I literally left the parking garage and was like, I'm gonna go through the car wash on my way home, but I'm not even mad.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
just
a
was
Tesla
like,
tax. You know, at that point.
it is. I'm like, cool. Like whatever. Birds can shit all over my car. Y'all can throw sodas. I don't care. Okay, it's fine. I'll just go through the garbage. Just don't fuck up my car. Like
So,
just don't. You know.
I have a little story. Okay.
Yeah. Tell me.
I just recently finished my name change paperwork process. I got my driver's license, all sort of stuff at Social Security, best I could. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but it came through. And one of the things I had to do was update my vehicle registration. You know, I was at the DMV and wanted to make sure that my name matched on the vehicle registration, all those little things.
Yeah.
Some folks may forget to do that while they're at the DMV when they're getting their name changed because you're so excited, but also definitely get your vehicle registration updated when you go. But then while I was doing that, I also had to update my plates. So it's just like, it was like, I need to get the registration for my plates. And I went on the website and, you know, you can get vanity plates very easily.
Yes.
And I have some pretty cool vanity plates right now. I don't know if I want to out my license plate because I don't know if I want people to be able to find me in that way. But I was thinking about getting a new one. And I was really disappointed that I was going to get Fuel On, Fuelon.
Oh, FUE on.
So
You can't have it.
they didn't say no. I'm waiting to see. I mean, like, let's see if it'll like toss a flag because it is Fuel On. It's an EV, you know, Fuel On. Hey, we're gonna keep on
Yeah.
fueling on. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyways, that was my idea. That's my story. If anyone would like to get the license plate Fuel On, it is a way to
Yeah, well, yeah,
send
but
a message.
well, hopefully it'll be yours, and no one in Virginia can get it. But if you live in another state,
Yes, this is
and
true.
you vanity plates, yes.
I am devastated, actually. I just checked the chat. Someone said that Pluto should be destroyed, actually.
Oh,
And
Pluto
I
should
What
think-
has Pluto ever done to anybody?
The reason I'm devastated
Yeah.
is because I see exactly where they're coming from. We should blow the planet up.
No,
What?
Then we
What
won't have to
did Pluto-
argue about whether or not it's a planet. We could just fix the argument.
Then it's an asteroid bounce.
It's an asteroid belt, exactly. It's gonna get sucked into, like, yeah, this is sucked into somebody's gravitational pull, probably ours, and then that'll be our demise, and that's what we get for.
Speaking of sucking things in, how is Trump and Putin's relationship going?
I heard he was very mad at him. Yesterday I did my what the fuck just happened today, and I heard that Trump was really big mad at his friend. So I don't know. I think they're gonna break up. I mean, let's hope for. I don't know.
What is it gonna do? Crimea River? Sorry, that's really bad.
I
For the name.
thought both of those wars were supposed to be over like
Oh, right.
on
The first day in
January 21st
office.
or
Yeah, January
something.
21st. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Trade
maybe
wars.
they didn't get the memo.
they didn't get the memo.
It's after the trade
Oh,
wars
no,
that
you
he
guys.
starts.
Oh, no, you guys. I have to charge my phone. It died, and it's the only key I have to my car.
Well,
So, on that note,
on that note, I did want to go ahead and thank Chloe.
yes. Thank you, Chloe.
Yes,
Sticky
thank
basket.
you, Sticky Basket.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. I really, it was a blast being
Yeah,
here.
for coming on the show and for sharing your joy with us. I'd like to give another quick little shout out to the Friendly City Safe Space out in Harrisonburg, Virginia, for allowing me to share in their joy on Trans Day of Visibility. And thank you, Thea, for all the work that Thea does out there, spreading joy and giving joy and sharing joy all over the place. And of course, Melissa, I don't think she's sharing joy with some of these politicians, but I'm glad she's out there sharing.
I love what you
Definitely no joy. As a matter of fact, most of them are like, it's her again. But yes, I will continue to share that, and I will share my joy that I do have with all of the people I actually give a shit about, which are not politicians.
And also, I'm very grateful for you, Cody. Not just because of the things you do for your family and community and the way you stand up, but the way that you help and support me, the way that you support all of your friends and family. We love you, Cody.
We love you, Cody.
Well, I love all of you guys, and I want all of you out there that are hopefully watching or will watch this show to show up.
Yeah, show up.
Show up with joy.
And drag 2 friends with you.
Leave your phone at home.
And go to Lowe's and build a sign beforehand. Make a play date with your friends.
Yes.
Don't pick up a pizza box.
And ideally, Chloe would like for you to put some effort into that.
Yeah, but if not, we'll take what we can get. Pizza boxes are fine.
We'll take what we can get. I'm just going to be judgy. It's okay.
Fine.
I won't judge you too hard.
It's fine. There you go.
But joy is the greatest act of resistance. And as we like to say around here, trans joy beats hate every time.
Hell yeah. Banana bread.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you all for watching.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you in partnership with Collective Tattoo and the Kalos Coalition. We are listener supported, so if you like the show, please consider donating to us on Patreon at patreon.com/talkingtransparency. Like, share, and subscribe across social media, and be sure to visit our Linktree at linktree.com/talkingtrans.